Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this edition of the Prime Time Newscast in the English language on Canal, the international called Maureen. We'll begin with our top stories. Carnage in Bamenda in the northwest region of Cameroon as unidentified gunmen opened fire on customers and a bar at the Natural Junction Sunday evening. According to eyewitnesses, the horrible incident happened around 7:30 p.m. In this edition, we'll give you the reactions of the Northwest governor, of politicians in the nation's political capital, Yaoundé, and human rights actors. And 2 persons have been crushed to death by a truck in Bonoberry in the Douala for municipality. The victims, a rider and his passenger, were hit by a vehicle and later crushed by a truck on high speed. The population of Bonoberry is still to come to terms with the blood still on the roads this Monday. And the problematic around migrants at the center of reflection in Douala, an initiative of the International of Migrants. Those are major stories. Details right ahead. Good evening once more. Carnage in Bamenda, northwest region of Cameroon, as unidentified gunmen opened fire on customers and a bar at the Natural Junction. That was Sunday evening. According to eyewitnesses, the horrible incident happened at about 7:30 p.m. As we hear the following story with our reporter, Saleh Sharifa.
In a video being shared online, bodies of killed persons can be seen strewn along a roadside, with a man counting up to 9 bodies. According to bystanders, the incident occurred at around 7:30 p.m. Pro-secessionists have been directing accusing fingers at what they described as men dressed in military uniforms. But the Cameroon Army, through its communications spokesperson, Commander Cyril Atonfak, has refuted the claims. According to him, the assailants wanted to keep the perpetrators in the dark. Atonfak condemns the attack and speaks of 9 dead and 2 wounded, promising that the defense and security forces will hunt down the perpetrators of the massacre. The insecurity reigning in the northwest and southwest regions date back to 2016, when groups fighting for the independence of the areas in question took up arms to confront the army.
Fascinated in cold blood. Let's watch the images. That was the Archbishop Kia at Nacho, the crime zone in the northwest region of Cameroon, where at least 12 persons lost their life or were killed by unidentified, described as 16/2023 at about 7:30 junction Bamenda to subdivision, Mesam division, northwest region of Cameroon. According to the press release, a group of about a dozen secessionists, automatic rifles, gathered a few innocent civilians before firing heavily and indiscriminately at them, leaving them to dirt, some of them leaving them, the customers of the bar at dirt. According to the press release, investigations have been opened by local actors and judicial authorities to help shed more light. We'll certainly come back to that in our subsequent editions of our newscasts. And the Center for Human Rights and Democracy in Africa has condemned what they describe as indiscriminate killing of civilians at Nacho Junction in Bamenda, northwest region of Cameroon. They have condemned the perpetrators of the gruesome, inhumane, and the reaction of Beriyun Kajetan, a human rights lawyer at the Center for Human Rights and Democracy in Africa.
Of human rights, it constitutes a human rights violation, and it violates the international human rights law. As far as the ongoing armed conflicts in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon is concerned, there has been a rise in violations and abuses of human rights by both the state and non-state armed groups. And I think that the international community needs to react and also push forward the economic diplomacy as a tool to encourage the parties, the warring parties, to go in for a sincere dialogue, so that we can see an end to this crisis or this armed conflict that has been going on since 2016.
And the governor of the Northwest region at Africa has equally condemned the brutal killings of at least 12 people in Bamenda this weekend, promising hard times to the perpetrators. He spoke to the press this morning in the nation's political capital, Yaoundé, while attending the governor's conference. More on the story with our reporter, Hysen Cha.
The bloody weekend at the Nacho Junction in Bamenda remains a bitter pill to swallow. The regional governor out of Afrique reiterates the figures of the Sunday night massacre with a heavy heart.
The global security of the Northwest region is under control, despite some of the major challenges we are still facing in some hotspots, like it happened in Bamenda yesterday, where innocent population, 8 died at the level of the regional hospital, and 2 other wounded. One of them has been released. The other one is still under the care of the medical team at the level of regional hospital in Bamenda.
The Northwest Regional Administrative Authority, however, insists that the heartless criminals responsible for the gruesome killings shall never go scotch-free.
I rely on the name of the head of state to condemn strongly those barbaric acts, that carnage that happened in Bamenda, and ask the population to remain calm and rely on the head of state and security forces that are going to trace the author and sanction them according to the laws and regulations of the Republic.
Sad enough, the Sunday night killings happened just
in the Anglophone regions of Cameroon, a bat of feet calling on Anglophones to stop staying. A calm has returned and that the situation is under control, whereas the picture is different on the field reactions for the recent killing of some 14 persons around a Nacho in Bamenda Sunday evening. More on the story with our reporter, Beatrice Ngamu.
The yesterday Nacho massacre of 14 persons, another number just too much as far as the Anglophone crisis calamities are concerned. Civil society actors lament as they see the situation running into 7 years already. Such state of conflict, crisis, crime against humanity they hold cause for courage for constructive solution. We should be capable of accepting that the situation is not under control, and that for control, the question needs to be addressed in a direct manner with those who refuse to accept. The government should ensure there is permanent calm, and this calm can only be possible through a veritable inclusive dialogue between government representative and representative of the rebel group who say they are Ambazonia. Ile Kamga put it out clearly that the origins from the northwest and southwest regions are not helping the situation. Because the question is in the Anglophone society, who have not in a definite manner said no to the war, following the species from their own on the situation on the field. Their words and explanations that the situation is under control, whereas it is not the picture there. The killings, demonstration, the much-talked security by the government is still far-fetched.
Si vous avez une seule partie du territoire qui n'est pas en sécurité permanente, c'est que vous avez failli à votre devoir. Donc le gouvernement doit prendre ses responsabilités.
To take its course and the defaulters to face the law. And this can only be possible after an in-depth investigation with good results and actions. This far, rocking the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon.
And 2 persons have been crushed to dirt by a truck in Bodo and crushed by a truck on high speed. The population of Bonabari is still to come to terms with the blood still on the road this Monday. More with our reporter Gladys Ambo Diba.
Shock and consternation this Monday, July 17, 2023, in Bonaberi Douala, as a bike rider and his passenger, a lady, are crushed by a truck on high speed. According to eyewitnesses, the bike rider was hit by a vehicle that was dodging a harrow placed on the road by council agents who intercepted him. The bike rider and his passenger, who fell on the opposite direction of the road in Granga, were crushed. The accident stirred tensions amongst bike riders, the local population, and even the police over the nuisance caused by the local council agents on the road daily. The accident blocked circulation for a few hours and was only freed after the remains of the victims were cleared from the road. It should be noted that the council agents have always harassed drivers during their regular checks, causing traffic on the roads. They both died on the spot, and their corpses were cleared from the road by rescue workers who transported the remains to the Bonasama Hospital mortuary.
The problematic around migrants is at the center of a debate in Cameroon's economic city, Douala, an initiative of the International Migration Organization that is bent on putting in place legal dispositions on ethical recruitment of migrants. The official launching of the project took place today in Douala. More in the following story.
Security challenges against the backdrop of serious crimes and drug trafficking.
Migrants struggle on a daily basis for survival. Thousands of migrants living in Cameroon and across Africa are known to face enormous challenges to get jobs and other basic necessities. Integration within host countries is still problematic. Over the years, millions of migrants have become victims of abusive and exploitative practices by recruitment agencies.
How do we ensure that someone, I would say, being treated negatively? Because these negative treatments are definitely, I would say, reasons of non-contribution for migrants into their development.
Civil society organizations, professional employers, workers of the private sector and others in the employment chain, together with experts in the International Labour Organization and migration, are reflecting on ethical recruitment of migrant workers.
As the International Organization for Migration, we promote the principle that migration well managed is beneficial for migrants themselves and also the societies. We are coming today because a bulk of migration is related to migrant workers, and it's clear to us that to be able to protect them better, it's always good to have ethical recruitment.
And what's government's contribution in protection of migrants?
Migrants are workers like any other workers, and they hold a lot of competence. And that can help us to better improve our economic output. That is why the government is taking it seriously and working with partner organizations.
Progress on the policies, legislation and regulation has tasked regional administrative authorities to intensify the fight against crimes and drugs trafficking within the school milieu. Presiding over the governors' conferences among the nation's political capital Yaoundé, Minat Abos urged the regional heads to reduce the rising physical insecurity and strictly monitor the activities of barriers of public opinion. More in the following story. Reporter Aisha.
Security challenges against the backdrop of serious crimes and drug trafficking is the main focus of this 2023 first biannual conference of regional governors that opened in Yaoundé this July 17. Opening the forum, the Minister of Territorial Administration, Paul Atanganji, tasked the regional governors to multiply mechanisms and fish out perpetrators of rising criminal acts in their regions.
As maintain public order, fight against all forms of organized crimes, and closely monitor the activities of political parties, associations, and NGOs.
The conference is an occasion to paint the picture of security and other related issues within their respective jurisdictions.
We had some problems at the beginning of the year with the assassination of the Martinez Zogo and other ritual crimes at the beginning of the year. But thereafter, with all the security measures put in place, we have been having positive results in terms of even the consumption of drugs in schools and in the city.
With regards to the fight against hate speech, Paul Atanganji assigned the governors to act as media watchdogs.
Henceforth, administrative authorities will have to monitor some private media organs